Hey guys, it's me, Anais, and I am joined with Assaph Mehr, and we are here to talk about his fabulous book, Murder in Absentia, and all things Felix. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Assaph Mehr. I'm the author of Murder in Absentia. It's a Roman-inspired fantasy world murder mystery. Yep. If you're here, you probably heard about it by now. So,
and if you haven't heard about it, then I'm going to tell you all about it because it is one of my favorite books. So, I'm going to tell you about it. And also, another thing that you can do is he has short stories on his website, and you can go there and read them for free. And that is a really cool thing. So, to tell you about it, yes.
All the cool guys got the links in the bottom. So
yes, links are all on the bottom, and so feel free to check them all out. So, without further ado, I thought that a fun thing to do to start out with would be to have a thing where I read some sentences here, and poor Assaph has to choose which one of them he wrote. So,
oh, yes.
Oh yes, we're doing it. It's going to be awesome. Okay, here is the first one. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. Did you write that?
That doesn't sound familiar.
You didn't write that, so you're right. That was actually a Charlotte Bronte. So, but Felix does take walks, so that's why it made it in there. Okay.
Yeah, considering how much he whinges about, walking in the sandals all over town. So yeah.
Yeah, he has to walk a lot, so there has to be a possibility that he's gonna walk. All right, so he's doing good so far. Next one. He didn't register any surprise, so my guess must have been correct.
That sounds familiar.
It is familiar. You wrote it.
Okay, yeah.
It's really good. Okay, this is good. Okay, as our port had grown, so had our knowledge.
Had our what grown? Sorry.
As our port had grown, so had our knowledge.
No, not me.
Oh no, that was you. Yeah, you were talking about he was walking towards the lighthouse, and he was explaining how all of the different people had come and shared their knowledge. Does that sound familiar? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. That could have been anyone, but it was you that time.
Okay.
All right, here's the next one. Black upon black is all I see, and the last thing I know is which way is up.
Not me. Well, not in the Murder in Absentia, but yeah.
Okay. No, it wasn't you. That was J.D. Estrada from Only Human. Okay, and then we have one more. Baths are seldom far removed from the provision of sexual services. So here was another way of spending money.
Yeah, well, I don't think Felix would ever complain about spending money for sexual services. So.
No. No, I don't think so. Okay, so that was from the book Hadrian by Anthony Everett. So yeah. At least it was in the right theme there. Yeah. You did pretty good. I think you did better than I would have done. So. Oh, impressive. Okay, so let us get to some wonderful questions here. And I think that we already had a question in the comments. So Leslie G wanted to know, I have a question. I know you live in Australia, so how difficult was it to write your book in what I call American English?
Not difficult at all, because it's written in Australian English, not American English. So, yeah. The Oxford Dictionary defines American English and world English. So all the world speaks English, and then there are Americans. And my book is in international English. It's not never been translated to American.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
It's like to J.K. Rowling, change the philosopher's stone to the sorcerer's stone. So.
Yes, I think that she would love to do that. She should do that. It'll make it easier to read. Okay, well, I have a question for you that I came up with from my brain. I love the world that you created. The blend of fantasy with Roman history is neat. Can you share a bit about how you built your world?
Sort of did it as I go. So I had the idea that it was to be Roman inspired. Very early on, and I considered doing it in ancient Rome, but I decided that I will never be fully satisfied with my level of actual knowledge and research that I had to do. So I made it into a fantasy world. And once that was on, I started to experiment and then mix in a few other things. So there's a bit of Alexandrian and other cultures mixed in there as well. So it's predominantly Roman, but bits and places of other stuff. And sort of built the world spreading out from the city to the furthest reaches.
Yes, that's cool. And then with the magic, did you just kind of make it up as you went along, or did you read certain books about magic? Because like for my book that I'm writing, I have a big book on demonology and I don't use a lot of stuff about that.
Oh really? You don't summon demons a lot then?
Not all the time, just when I'm out of tea. But I got like my main demon was somebody that was in the demonology book, and it was an ancient demon, and I used that character. So did you take bits of magic from old scrolls, like that type of stuff, or did you just make it up?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So we look at really historical sources. Obviously, magic doesn't quite work, so there's only the perceptions of what's there.
Right.
There's also the perception of religion and gods, etc. But I needed something that's working, and when you create magic, it actually has an effect, a measurable effect.
Yes.
So it's sort of a mix. I am using some concepts that are historically accurate. Researching now for the second book, curse tablets. So people used to inscribe a curse on someone on usually lead sheets, and then roll them and pierce them, and then draw some magical signs and bury them in graveyards and whatnot. And people think, it's all nefarious, etc. Yes, but there's also like tons of them that survive from Bath in England, where the curses are like, whoever stole my towel last week, may his teeth rot and his eyes fall off. So yeah, it's not always really dark. So that's part of I'm using, but other bits, the more flashy bits, they're taken just from a bit more classical fantasy or other. I go into more of that in the second book than the first, I guess.
Yeah, in the first book, I thought that it was pretty cool because you had like there was definitely a system there, and not everybody could tap into the magic equally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a magic system behind it. I'm just not laying it out ahead of time.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. I'm just saying I like that. Because basically, for me, when I read it and I think about kind of the Roman society, the Roman-like society that you have built, there is a social hierarchy, and kind of the magic use seemed like, and I could be totally off because it's not all revealed yet, but it seemed like it was a mirror of that in some ways.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Neat.
I sort of try to link it to the traditional priesthoods and other institutions in Rome or in Alexandria. Sort of keep it side by side with the political system.
Yeah. Neat. So can you tell us about Felix?
Felix. He's a right bastard. He's a small-time private investigator. He started to study magic, but due to unfortunate circumstances couldn't pay the tuition, so had to abandon that. Tried his luck at the legions, very quickly discovered that that soldier life is not for him, so came back, and by chance became involved with a couple of private detectives, learned the craft from them. It's actually an homage to a couple of my favorite authors who write Roman era detective stories. Not fantasy, but historical detectives. From then on, he sort of specializes in cases where there's an element of magic or the occult. People need the problems of those kinds to go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, Murder in Absentia is his first major case.
And where did you get the name Felix?
Felix in Latin means lucky. Yeah. as everybody knows, he's got a love-hate relationship with the goddess of fortune. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of funny that it's lucky, because in some ways he's very lucky, and in other ways,
no. Yeah.
So unlucky.
Also, of course, my cat is named Felix. So
there you go. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I just reused the name because it was past midnight, and hey, here's the cat. So it's a good Latin name.
It is a good name. Yeah, I used a lot of. I had cats that were named Octavia,
yeah.
And I had a dog that was Augustus. So yeah.
Okay. Going with the
you see the theme. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I actually gave my cat the full name, the trinomina, but it's in Pig Latin. So his name is Spurius Brutus Felix, which is Pig Latin for lucky stupid bastard. And Felix has a proper Roman name, so the three names, the praenomen, which is the first name. They only had about 30 first names, out of which only about 15 were in use. So about 2/3 of the population were called Gaius, Titus, or Marcus. So yeah,
Yeah.
It's very. At some point they kind of stopped signing their first name, the first letter, because and then you have the family name, the gens, which is the traditional name, and then you have the third name, which is the because names pass in families, so you have Julius Caesar, Gaius Julius Caesar would run in families, and in actually counting backwards, because everybody knows the first one, the most famous one, count backwards for him, but for everybody else you count forward. Yeah, so then you get the cognomen, which is the nickname, and then when that got hereditary, you got the fourth name. So. It makes naming people fun in books.
Yeah, I bet.
Anais?
Yes, hello? Did I freeze? Okay. It felt like it froze. There.
Okay.
That was frightening for 2 seconds there. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I was just rambling on about Roman names and how easy it is to read history where everybody's named the same.
Yes. See, and I heard most of it, so I think that we're pretty good. Whew. All right. So I know that in the book, Felix is eating a lot of very dismaying meals. Would you eat any of those?
Once maybe to try.
Just for
I've cooked a few times with fish sauce, with Thai fish sauce. You get it? My God, it smells awful.
Really?
When you just introduce it to a hot pan, it really brings out all those flavors of rotting fish. But once it's actually once it integrates with the dish, it's actually quite nice. You find it a lot in Thai cuisine. But yeah, there's other things to eat, like goat testicles, which is historically accurate, but yeah. And then fried dormice in honey and poppy seeds. Yeah, yummy.
Yummy.
Because I like deep fried mice.
Especially in honey. I mean, the honey really brings out the little.
It's the sprinkling of poppy seeds that really sells it.
I know, really sells it.
Omelette with jellyfish and brains.
Oh, the brains. Yes.
Yeah, brains. Common.
Brains.
Common feature. Yeah. Yes.
God, my friend ate brains recently. Ugh. I mean,
most of the dishes are historically accurate, though horribly disgusting.
Yes, that's part of why it's fun, because you're reading along, and maybe I like to read and eat, but
I'm guessing, yeah, that book killed it for you.
it did make me go. Let me just set this down for a minute. The food, not the book. Usually I'd want to finish what I was reading, but I could set the food down for a minute. Like, oh my God. Oh dear.
They had interesting ideas about food.
They did, yeah.
I think that the most fun I had though was extending it to a fantasy game. So, there's one meal there where he cooks some fantastic beasts. Oh, sorry, gets to eat some fantastic beasts, and that was, mixing the fantasy with the historical is a bit fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, cackling in evil glee when I wrote those paper scenes. There were some of my favorites writers when it was.
I think the funny thing is that you cackled when you were writing it, and I was cackling when I was reading it.
Good.
I guess it is good, but it's kind of ridiculous when you find yourself doing that, and then people look over. Well, it was hilarious.
So,
oh dear.
The first trivia question now.
Oh yes, this is a good time for the trivia question.
All right.
Yes.
So, as mentioned and as promised, for a chance to win a signed copy of either my book or Anais's #1 best-selling poetry book. Let's
oh dear.
Just leave a comment on the next week or so in the comments for this video. But what is the most disgusting thing Felix eats, in your opinion? And we'll pick a winner in a week and then announce it.
Yep, and then you get to have that book.
Yes. You can think about all the most disgusting, historically accurate food.
Yeah, and then you can even look up the recipes, because one of the fun things about reading his book for me was researching this stuff. And there are historically accurate recipes, so you can go ahead and make the things that Felix does.
Yes.
You can eat them and try
it's
them.
kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. The recipes, they're very shorthand recipes. Probably are pickiest, but we have other accounts from other sources about feasts, etc. And then there are people who try to recreate the Roman dishes.
Yeah.
There's a show can probably find it on YouTube, called The Supersizers Go Ancient Rome. And they try to eat various ancient Roman feasts and recreate some of the dishes. And I think it's hilarious.
I think I should watch that. It sounds awesome.
Apparently the jellyfish omelette is quite nice.
Really?
Yeah, but nobody wanted to put fish sauce on top of that to try. So.
I can't believe they wouldn't put fish sauce on that.
Yes, I think the phrase was nasal napalm. So yeah.
A little too fermented for them. Oh,
yeah.
Come on.
The person who was chosen to deal with it said, "Food is not food until it oozes." Yeah.
That is a good tagline to live by. I've never had jellyfish. Have you?
No. I live in Australia. Okay. Those things try to kill us. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're kind of murderous. I've only seen jellyfish in aquariums. The last time I saw jellyfish was in Vancouver, BC. They have a beautiful aquarium and had tons of jellyfish, and they were beautiful because they were safely ensconced behind glass. And they could not kill me. But everything tries to kill you in Australia, so.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I used to kind of fantasize about moving to Australia, and then I started to realize that.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
There were a few times that we went to the beach and we looked down. And there's a bit of seaweed from last night's high tide, and then you walk a little bit closer, and it's like, what are all those blue little dots? And oh my God, those are blue bottles. Let's slowly retrace our steps and not go to the beach today.
So those poisonous?
This big. Okay. They're closer to actually Portuguese man of war. So it's some different species. They won't kill you, but their sting is extremely painful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah, so it's like, that's not, yeah. And then let's not discuss my backyard adventures with leeches.
Well, we have that in common. Because when I was growing up in Canada, there was a big creek behind our house, and I got leeches many times. It seems like I only needed to get them once. but you know how children are. They're like, oh, whatever. It's just some leeches that I cried for an hour as my parents extracted from my body. Yeah, back in the water I go. What an idiot.
Well, Australia is blessed with the ground traveling bleach, so they do make it away from the creek out in the backyard into the house.
Oh God, what?
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, you win. That's worse. Mine didn't end up in the house.
Just imagine, it's been a long day, at work, and you finally send the kids to sleep, done all the house chores. You go to bed, you lay your head on the pillow, look up above you, and there's a couple of leeches crawling on the ceiling, ready to drop on your face. So.
Oh my God.
It got worse, but yeah. The next few times I have to do it. I'll send you the link. It's if you go to my site and look at the short story, yeah, it's one of them. It's all true.
It's all true.
Unfortunately.
Horrible story. That's terrible. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, our leeches didn't walk across the ceiling.
No. Yeah.
That's terrible. That's really messed up. Oh God. All right. Well, we have leeches. Okay, so that one thing that I wanted to ask you about, another thing, is the Amazon buy button controversy. A lot of people have been getting very concerned about it. I read a little bit. I can't claim to be an expert. I'm certainly not expert enough to be really going crazy about it yet. I've seen a lot of blog posts where people say this Amazon buy button is going to ruin indie authors. How do you feel?
Okay. It can't, because they're selling your book, so you get royalties for it, so it can't really. What happens is when you set up distribution, you can send up, depending on which distributor or print-on-demand service you go with, you can set up the extended distribution, which a lot of people then use it to sort of remarket your book, but they still print your book and you still get the royalties. You just get less royalties because it sort of comes under the wholesale. So if you set it up right, you know, might get less royalty, but you would get something. It shouldn't be set up so you're losing on it. So
right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit of a misunderstanding about how things actually work. So essentially, instead of Amazon promoting their own necessarily create space link that charges at the recommended retail price, they might have someone who's buying the book through the wholesale pricing and selling that for somewhat less. So their customers get somewhat less. They still get a cut because it's all done through them, and you still get your cut, which could be somewhat lesser than being sold directly through creators, but you know.
Yeah, but you're still getting something, and that's really the bottom line. If you're not
comfortable with that, then either take your book off the extended distribution channels, or set up the margins to the level that you enjoy, to the level you're comfortable with.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was something I just published, the Weightless one in paperback recently, and somebody contacted me right away, and they said, "Oh my God, do you notice that you have some resellers who are selling it for like $18 or something?" I don't care. Okay, like,
oh yes,
I'm not shedding tears. They must have bought my book then, right? They had to procure it, so now they can sell it. So okay.
Oh, there's people selling, as new copies, first edition for $40.
Yeah.
Because there must be someone gullible enough to buy it.
Right. Yeah. If somebody wants to do that, then they can.
Yeah, but
that's between them.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
Most people just and then I've looked at the numbers that actually go through those channels, at least for me. So most people just buy off the Amazon one anyway. So
yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that's usually what I end up doing.
If it becomes a problem, I can always change the wholesale margins or recommend retail price to compensate.
All right, so that's what we're saying.
Calm down, take a breather, read more about it.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll be okay. Probably.
Yeah. Besides, if anybody wants your book for free, they'll probably just go to the library and get it. So.
Yes, and you know what? I am a huge fan of the library, and that is actually one of my biggest missions in life, is to have my books in libraries so people can read it for free. Because the library, without that, I would know so much less than I know now. Because I wouldn't have had access to all those things. There's no way I would have been able to afford all of the books that I've read. No way.
I have a library card, and then I spend time in library books for research and casually borrow books.
Yeah. So I'm a huge library fan, and whenever I get a little a voting thing in the mail, it says, "Will you give like 5 cents of your tax dollars to libraries?" I say yes. Yes, I will. And you know what? My library is awesome now. So, anyway, libraries. Okay. So how do you find time to write? That is another really hot topic for just everybody. A lot of people say they want to write. A lot of people who aren't writers say they want to write, and that's awesome. So how do you find time to do that?
Oh, yeah, like I told my daughter, the secret to writing a novel. Very, hidden secret that only very few people know about it, but willing to share it. The secret is basically write.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, if you don't write, you won't get a book. So if you want a book, you have to write. It's that simple.
Yes.
It's just find the time and make it work. For the first, for Murder in Absentia, I wrote it mostly at night. It was summer, it was too hot to sleep. I actually wrote the first draft in about 4 months. Pretty quick.
Yeah, that is very quick.
Yeah. And then, I was aiming to finish it and do the first pass of editing before the baby was born. So I got all that done in time. And now that after that, I use the nights to sleep. Well, when he was sleeping, I was trying to sleep as well.
Yeah.
Now he's better. He's mostly sleeping through the night, so that's easier. But yeah, I kind of kept the habit of actually sleeping at night. Not
that's good. That's not a bad habit.
Habit. So I write on the train to work. So I have about 45 minutes uninterrupted twice a day to work. So to write. So unless I'm tired or whatever, I just doesn't write. So it's going a bit slower, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
So already 3/4 of the book done. The second book done.
Yay! Good. Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think that if you want to write, you just do it.
Turn off the TV, find a time that no one interrupts you, that it's late at night on the train or on your lunch break, and then sit down and write.
Standing in lines. That's something that I do is when you're standing in the lines, like at the pharmacy, for example, I have notebooks that I just carry with me all the time, and I pull out my notebook and I'm writing in my notebook. And some people might look at you like you're daft. Who cares? Like, really, you're not ever going to see these people again. Why do you care what their opinion is?
Yeah.
I don't care. Whatever. So
I like to be a bit longer chunks of time to sort of get into it. But
oh yeah, definitely a longer time's better. But like if I'm writing on my novel, I want a longer chunk. But if I'm writing something fast, like a poem, then it's fine for me to do line writing.
Let's go.
Yeah. Fast. Yeah. I even have one right here.
All right.
Look at that. Yeah,
Oh.
this one's particularly awesome because it has black pages. Dun, dun.
You have a special white pen to write in? Pencil?
I actually do have special pens to write on it. Yeah, Crayola. Crayola came up with metallic markers. And I'm like, oh yeah, metallic markers for me. That's right. Yeah.
I do all my writing on the laptop, so I can longhand. Actually, I kept my notes originally for the novel in a little notebook written in pencil, but fairly quickly moved everything to proper notebooks and using Scrivener for the actual notebook. So,
yeah. I think that's usually a more. It's usually a more convenient way to do it is on the computer. That's what I do most of my writing on now. I used to write everything longhand, but it was such a pain to then afterwards write it down and transcribe everything. Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah. So what I do is just keep notes for myself. So if I come up with a good idea for something, a quote or a scene or whatever, then I just write it down on my phone and send myself an email or something for later.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, but to get down for the actual proper writing, I just try to find at least half an hour and I have no one interrupting me.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that you found the train because a lot of people would just kind of, I don't know, not do that on the train.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to ride the train a lot, and a lot of people just do this on the train.
Yeah. Sit and stare and zombie out, and play with their phones. And
yeah, and that's fine.
Some days I do that too. Too tired to ride.
Yeah, it's a fine thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you have any other hobbies besides the writing?
Nominally, I do martial arts. Haven't. So I took a break when the baby was just before I was born.
Yeah.
And yeah, trying to find the time now. I'm actually trying to get back to it. To restart that. So I've been doing it on and off for about 30 years since I was a teenager. Done various martial arts. Now I'm doing an internal martial arts, internal branch of Wing Chun, which is actually sort of inspired bits of the magic system.
Yeah.
So when you see all those people moving really, really slow, they're actually trying really hard to sense things within themselves and then figure out what goes on. Not getting drawn into any mysticism, etc., but there's a lot of how you move. So the internal martial arts are about moving efficiently and building more muscle. So you can build a very efficient engine that's just as powerful as a very strong engine, just not transmitting power very efficiently. And yes, some of those aspects are made it into the magic system in Felix's novels.
That's cool. Does it take a lot of control to move that slow when you're doing martial arts?
Yeah, it's not about control. It's about looking for a black cat in a dark room while blind, and you don't know what a cat is. So it's kind of those things that you learn from someone by practicing with someone who knows what they're doing, and they keep correcting you until you accidentally, touch that cat, and then they tell you, "Oh, that was good." So you try to find it again. It takes a while until you actually can recognize the right feeling and the right sensations to build up and be able to do it by yourself.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like when I was learning how to sing opera. It took a long time to know even when you're doing it right versus wrong. Like, I mean, once you understand how to breathe, because it took a year to learn how to breathe properly. Good Lord.
Yeah. I cannot possibly sing, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't do martial arts. So yeah. I did try a little bit. I knew somebody who's very good at martial arts, and I tried, and but he didn't do it. He must have done something that was faster, because he did a lot of, kicking and violent looking martial arts. And I kicked him once, and I sprained both of my ankles. He was just like kicking a wall of just like rock. It was so painful. And that was it. That was the end of my martial arts career.
I've done a lot of that when I was younger. So, got over it.
Got over it.
A bit more interesting.
Yeah, it sounds more like I don't know if this is at all true, but is it kind of like a form of meditation?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. Moving meditation.
Interesting. Now you got me, and now I have something else to research. I don't know about that. Yes. So, were those jellyfish? Was that the most frightening animal that you've encountered, or the slugs in Australia, or was there a scarier creature?
Yeah. So Australia doesn't have big predators. The biggest predators are dingoes. So they're really, really pretty dogs. The Tasmanian devil is smaller. The Tasmanian tiger is extinct. Yeah, so it's the little annoying things that are really trying to kill you. Australia. There are cassowaries, which are sort of like a really violent emu.
Oh my gosh.
So it's the large flightless bird with a sort of horn in the middle of their heads, and then these large claws, and they're violent. But yeah, they're not trying to eat you. They're just trying to kill you to go away.
Goodness.
But I haven't encountered one in the wild.
That's good.
Yeah, I've seen goannas, lizards.
Yeah.
a good, like, meter-long lizard running around in campgrounds. Yeah. But again, it's mostly after food anyway.
Yeah.
Don't try to wrestle it to the ground, you'll be fine.
So
far I managed to avoid the snakes and the really horrible spiders.
Oh God, yeah, that's the thing. Those snakes, those Australian snakes that I've read about, look pretty frightening.
Yeah.
There was these water moccasins snakes that I used to boat a lot when I was younger, and they'd just be draped down on the towards the water, and they'd swim in the water too. These snakes,
yeah.
And they'd be on the trees, just like hanging off of them, and sometimes they drop in boats.
At which point you'd rather jump and tackle the leeches.
Yeah, but if you jump in the water, there's just more, because it's like they travel in packs or something. It's so gross. Anyway, but they weren't the super poisonous type of snakes. They're just disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're just disgusting. And then there was critters, but
I keep Felix with the more mythological creatures.
Yeah, those are fun. All of those creatures.
So I'm trying to base it on the obviously on the Greek and Roman myths. Try not to get things confused with later inventions. Yeah,
that would be kind of a little hard, because sometimes you want to.
Yeah.
But you have to rein yourself in. I mean, they had a lot of good creatures, so you don't have to. You can stay in and still be pretty fantastic.
Yeah. That was this was one of the first short story I wrote, I think. Burnt involved one of those creatures. So.
Oh yes,
what
it did.
In the town, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Variation of alligators in the sewers.
Yeah, I really like the ending, which I'm not gonna give away or anything, of course, but
yeah, don't ruin it.
I won't ruin it. Yeah, that was a good creature. Just trying to imagine it. Good Lord. So, do you have kind of an idea of when you'll be done with the next one, the next book?
I'm not really writing for a deadline. So
okay, that's smart.
I'm making progress every week, so it's not every day. Writing a little bit, so I'm about 3/4 done.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I did write the first chapter about a year and a half ago, so just took a long break in between. I hope to finish it, the first draft, soon-ish, within the next few months. But then there'll be rounds and rounds of editing before it actually comes. So I don't know when it'll be ready.
Oh, it's okay. It'll give people time for the other one.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll get an advanced copy. Yeah, I'll need all the critique, but I've learned from the first round of publication with Mehr and Absentia, so I will consciously take a bit longer once I finish the first to edit, and then leave myself some space, and then another editing round, and leave some space, and because if you do editing straight after writing, you tend to miss more, because it's all kind of not form. If you take a few weeks breaks, you get a fresh perspective, so it makes it easier to notice things and fix it. So.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Yeah. Because especially my book, the book that I'm writing, I didn't look at it for a couple of weeks while I was working on the Weightless one, getting that one out, and then I went back and read it, and I was like, oh, I see what I did there. Let's just fix that. But you wouldn't necessarily know that if you were just plowing ahead.
Yeah. So there are things like so like when I find, like when I did the proof copy for the actual print. Right? It's like, I think, okay, now almost ready to bring, and I get the proof copy and I read through it, and it's like, no, those are plot holes. I need to fix them. No, go back.
Yeah.
So, having to wait for those, 3-4 weeks for the proof copy helped. So, yeah. So this time I'm going to take consciously more time to in between edit rounds and do a few more edit rounds, and then get better readers, and then get professional editors. You should never skimp on having a professional editor read through it.
Yeah.
And then final editing round, and then get it proofread, and then start working on the book production, the actual layouts and everything.
Yeah. Are you going to have a book designer, like for the cover?
Cover designer, definitely. I can play around with a bit of graphics, but not good enough to make a cover from scratch. You've seen my latest attempt at playing with graphics. You've seen that short animation.
Yeah.
But no, I'll have a professional editor and proofreader, and I'll have a professional graphic designer. Those are the things that I can't do, and definitely affect a lot about how the book looks and is perceived. So that's not the place to save money on.
Yes. Yeah.
To do those, but laying out the book in the inside, etc., that's something I can do. So
yeah.
I work with documents for my day job, so laying out things properly and then doing it nice is something I can do.
That's very lucky. I think that for me, that's been a big challenge, a huge learning curve, is learning how to do the formatting of my books, because I didn't do anything like that before. But I'm definitely learning.
I see the questions pop up occasionally about, oh, how do I make Word do that for the book? And it's like, why using Word? It's the wrong thing. So I can't even answer. You're asking the wrong question. So. Yeah, no, it's those are the things that it helps to know, like the professional tools. So even though I'm not a graphic designer, I have enough basic skills to know how to do layouts, etc. So Word is just not the right thing to do.
Well, the next time I'll ask you what is the right thing, because I don't know sometimes. I'm still battling. It's a battle, but that's okay.
There are a few things that when people look at a book, they can tell very quickly if it's a let's choose a term, amateur production or professional production.
Yeah.
Cover is one of them. So a lot of people think, oh, I can do the illustrations, so I have a friend who can draw, I can do the illustrations, and you look at it, it's like, yeah, that's nice. I've seen people in high school do those kind of illustrations. It's not a professional cover. And when they pick up the book, when they open it and start reading, and there's grammatical or spelling errors in the first few pages, it's like, that's done a little bit better. And the same with book production. If you're not comfortable making it look and behave properly, so all the page numbers and the table of contents, and then essentially just get someone to do it for you. Pay for it, because at the end of the day, it's your name on the cover. It's what people associate with you. So.
Yeah, that's true. If you can't do it yourself, pay someone else. Sage advice. You have another question from the audience.
Okay.
Can you tell the viewers which of your short stories on your webpage is your favorite?
Ooh, they all are. They're the little children. Some of them are better. Burnt is the first one I wrote. It's a bit lighthearted and kind of like it. New Directions is a bit of an homage again to two of my favorite authors. Cursed was just a sort of small fun, nothing serious about it. 50 Grey Shades was a pure parody.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife insisted that need to have more sex scenes in the novels because that's what people buy. So it's made me watch the movie, and yeah, that was the result. So that was funny. But I think that the last two are my best writing. So Girl on Fire. I came across a musician named Aradia through Twitter, and saw one of her video clips, and I loved it so much. And I sort of wrote a Felix mystery inspired by her video clip and her song. So some of the lyrics are integrated into the story in some ways. So that was definitely one of my favorites. She liked it too, by the way.
That's awesome. That's so cool that she got to see it.
Yeah, she got to read it, and she loved it as well. And the last one that I wrote, Shade Shadow, trying to go for something really, really dark. And yeah, both of them. So Girl on Fire and Shadow, darker than the others. And I think that makes them better. Also, I'm getting better with practice.
Yeah.
I'm better. Then again, the flash fictions at the bottom, which are just not connected to Felix, just random bits of really quick.
Yeah.
Usually on the lighter side.
It's hard to pick the favorite one too for me, and I've read them, so that is hard because they do have very different feelings, very like the light ones and the darker ones. I usually tend to like darker things more, but I think that when they're the lighter ones, maybe like Burnt, because it's so, I don't expect it so much.
Yes.
And the lightness, then it's
classic Felix.
It's too fun. It's so fun that I end up really liking it so much. So it kind of gets almost like the darkness, I don't know. It's hard. I can't really pick which one is my favorite one. I'm sorry.
I like it. That's his classic deadpan humor.
Yeah.
Like he's not. And that sort of starts with him finding himself in the sewers with a rather dim-witted gladiator and a goat, and is complaining that he should have brought a sheep instead. Not going along fast enough. Yeah, so and I like that one.
Yeah, I thought that was hysterical.
I guess one of the criticisms I get sometimes is people can't connect to Felix or the other characters. So one of the things is I've learned to ignore it. When you get someone saying, "Oh, this character feels like a wooden cutout, it's horrible, can't speak," and then the other one, that character is, actually showing some, good characterization and development, and you get feedback from someone else saying exactly the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Just illustrates the points that different readers connect with different things differently.
Yes.
No single book is ever for all readers. So
yeah.
Yes, I know that some things I can technically do better in the way that I write to make stories a bit more immediate, a bit more so less reserved. But Felix will definitely keep his deadpan humor, his straight face of telling events that
Which is good because I'm one of the people who connected with Felix,
yes.
and I love his way of humor. I think it's, that's part of why whenever people ask what was one of the favorite books that I read this year, I always say that book because I loved Felix so much. So you can't please everybody, and that's something that's a very important thing to learn.
I'm not trying to please everybody. So
no.
My first and most important audience is myself. I write the stories that I want to read. So if I'm having fun with it, then it's a good thing. Not I write something else. And yes, and then it's finding people who enjoy it, people who appreciate it. I mean, then we can make it a bit of a long discussion because some authors get really upset about having 1-star reviews on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
So I break out the champagne bottles when I get one. If you look at, let's say, Lord of the Rings, right? There are 40,000 people on Goodreads who left a 1-star review. 40,000 people thought that, you know, it's worth their time of day to go and rant about it on Goodreads and say, oh, you know, this book is just, you know, walk, 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 fight, walk, 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 dead kind of thing, boring.
Yeah.
No, who cares? It's got, you know, a million reviews of other people who thinks it's a classic. Right. And the same with every other author, J.K. Rowling or Martin or To Kill a Mockingbird or the
Neil Gaiman. Oh my gosh, I've seen people be scathing about him.
Yeah. So some books are good on a literary level. Some books are the subject may be, you know, crappy. You may not like it, but you cannot deny that they are important to the literary development of the period. Leaving a 1-star review on one of those is tells more about the person than reviewing them the actual. And for books like mine, which are, you know, are not quite the literary masterpiece, again, the first 1-star review was someone who said that they didn't finish it because they didn't like fantasy Rome, and they couldn't figure out from the book description, so they had to stop. The blurb says a fantasy world inspired by Rome. So how did you miss that bit?
And the cover, the cover
has a griffin on it.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, that was a fun bit because, you know, awesome. Now everybody who doesn't like it can read this review and know, okay, that's not for me. It's for the fantasy review. Yes, awesome. Yeah, the second bad review was someone who can't remember if they read the book. It's a verified purchase review of someone saying, I can't remember if I read it. Okay.
So I'm going to automatically give you 1 star because I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I don't take reviews too seriously. I celebrate all reviews, whether they're good or the bad or criticism. Personally, I think that the best reviews are on the 2 and 4 star marks. So the 1-star reviews, they have no clue. They're ranting. The 5-star reviews, the 5-star reviews obviously love the book, everything about it. So the 2 and the 4 usually are the things that say, okay, you know, this was good, this was bad. I recognize if it was good, I recognize what was bad. If it was bad, I can offer like a, you know, a reasonable analysis of why it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that I agree too. I always thought, when I first started, God, I've been writing since I was a kid, and I would joke about how I remember when I was, God, maybe middle school age, I said that I was going to wallpaper like a room with rejection letters because I thought it would be hysterical. I was a strange child, and so I sent out a couple things and they got accepted into. They were just, you know, small magazines, nothing fancy. I'm not trying to oversell myself or anything, but anyway, I was so upset because I just wanted to get to. I have those rejections, which of course now I've had. I had plenty of them, but yeah, I still have that feeling of where it's okay if you get those rejections, because if you don't have any rejections, it means you're not even putting anything out, you know, because there's definitely going to be people who don't like it.
If you read, you know, J.K. Rowling put up all her rejection letters.
Yeah.
The funnier ones out public. So yeah. Writing, especially being independently published, is different to being traditionally published. traditional publishers today, the whole industry is going through an upheaval, so it's not what it was 5 years ago, definitely not what it was 20 years ago. Do write what the stories that you want to enjoy, right? And find your niche audience. So if you're trying to write for a living and then churn out content for people to buy, that's one thing. But most people, if you do it for the love of enjoyment, then just make sure that you enjoy it and worry about connecting to other people later. Just reach out, find that particular niche.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best way to do it, because the chance of making making your living off of churning out books.
It's slightly better than winning the lottery, but yeah, no, that's
slightly
not
better. Slightly better.
Let's not bank on it on paying them all.
Yeah. So it's good to do it for the love, and then if you get something back, then that's
exactly.
It's good.
So,
but
I put a book out there. I get people, like you, who rave about it and like it, and it's fun, and I get to connect with other authors and other people who like books. It's the fun thing. It's not.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best parts, is that you get to find other like-minded people that you'd never ever find if you hadn't started doing that. Especially if you're a book hermit like myself. So, yeah.
I think, there's, that's why I don't take book piracy seriously either. A lot of authors that, like, oh my God, the book's been, pirated, and how dare these people, this slime bags.
Yes, they get so emotional. Yeah.
My view is that they don't understand how piracy works, how digital piracy works, and wasting their own emotions on it is just useless.
It's not personal. I think that's one of the first things that they should understand, is that it's not personal to that. Like they're not trying to personally, like they're not, let's look at this author and then personally do something to hurt them. That's not how a pirate.
No, absolutely not. And,
thinking.
I've always maintained that if my book gets pirated, I'll think about it as a compliment. Somebody liked it.
Yeah, they wanted it. Yeah.
So I pressed publish, obviously, and the next morning I had a message from a friend telling me, "Oh, here's your compliment," and my book was pirated within like 12 hours of being released. And then I checked it out, and it was like the same person puts out about 20 books every day.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not like they even notice. They just put out every single book that they can.
Yeah.
And the people actually doing the pirating, the people actually who put it out there are not the same people who are reading it. It's not. You can't compare it. You can't rail against them, and it's not. It's not quite the same system. It's not like people stealing your car. It's not something you didn't have. It's your content is out there, and now somebody thinks, okay, I want to read this book, but I'm not going to pay for it. So they can find it online on a pirated site. They can find it, when you do a free promotion, if you do those, or they can go to the library and read it.
Yeah.
I'd love it if my book was in a library and got read.
Yes. That's kind of how I feel about the piracy. Yeah. I mean, obviously I would rather be paid, but those people are probably, they're not going to pay for whatever reason anyway. Then I'd rather them read my book, hopefully leave me a review, because some pirates do. Some of them do actually post reviews.
That's I put a sort of passive aggressive if you got it from a pirated site, I hope you enjoy this book, just consider leaving a review, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the right attitude to have, because it's not going to. They're not going to.
I pour my heart and my money, and they're stealing money from food for my children. It's like, no, because those people would never have paid for your book.
Yeah.
You have a chance of looking at it as if they're in the library. They're either going to pick your book or somebody else's book. Would you rather you read yours or somebody else's book? That's the choice. The choice is who book they're going to spend their time on. Right?
Yeah.
How much they're going to spend reading, not who's they're going to pay, because they're not going to pay.
Yeah, and time is valuable, and so I'd rather them read my book. And then sometimes they will. Sometimes people who pirate. There's another type of pirate too. The type who will read just to find out what they like, and then they'll buy other things. And same with music. So they'll listen to a music and then they'll buy what they like. But I mean, I don't know. I think about other types of things where the pirating has actually worked because it's brought you this audience of people who now are interested in you because they know that you exist. You know, and if you're an indie author, then it takes a lot.
Yes.
You know, you don't have that money and resources and marketing behind you. So every audience member who is there for you, pirated or regular channel or whatever, I'm not going to be sad about it.
Exactly. So I don't try to waste too much time. Definitely not emotional energy on getting upset about it, etc. Just if they read it,
yeah.
If they like it, it's good. Then I got a fan.
Yeah, that's what I hope. I hope that they like it. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we don't spend our emotional energy there because there's a lot of things to be very upset about and things that you can't do anything about. It's just not worthwhile.
Exactly. I think the way to look at it these days is there's so many books out there, free or cost money or whatever. Yes, competing for the price people pay for the book is at the beginning, so it makes them think less of a risk. But most of the risk of people thinking about is not the whether it's $1 or $3. Take your book or an ebook copy on Amazon. It's how much time is it worth their time to read it? Right. So if you're Stephen King or J.K. Rowling, they're fairly certain that they're going to love it, so they pick up the book anyway.
Right.
If it's someone that they've never heard about it, and they see, is it worth my time, or should I pick something else? Right. So a good cover, a good blurb, reviews on Amazon, they all help them. Perhaps a promotion of a spy. They help them say, okay, no, it's not a big of a risk. It actually might have potential. I'll pick it up and try and read it. But, So, yeah.
I think that another thing that I've seen people get kind of emotional about is that they don't want certain types of fan fiction. Yeah, I know, you're laughing already. You know what I mean. And for me, I think, well, for one thing, you can't stop anybody from writing about anything they want to write about. And don't you want that? I mean, anybody who is willing to be that invested in your world that they're going to write your characters with their personal preferences, that's pretty amazing. That's great. If somebody wants to write fan fiction about your stuff, wow, what a compliment. That's how I would look at it, versus.
I would look at it that way. We all know that 50 Shades of Grey started as a fan fiction for Twilight.
Yes.
But obviously, he obviously had to change a few facts to make it into a publishable thing without infringing copyright. But a couple of the short stories I wrote that they're out on my blog as fan fiction because they are using traditionally published big name authors, their characters. So it's people I admire that I love their writing, I love their books, I love their characters, and they inspired Felix and his world and everything. So it's fan fiction. I'm not trying to make money off those stories or anything. I'm not trying to infringe their copyright, but I just kind of wanted Felix to meet those characters who inspired me to. Funnily enough, I tried to contact both of them. One of them's a bit of a recluse, and then she hates fan fiction, etc. So a fairly short communication. The other one gave me an address, and I sent him a copy, and he said thank you.
Cool.
I don't know if you read the book or not, but he was very nice about it. A third one, Ruth Downey. I didn't write a short story about her character, but she's actually appearing in the current work in progress with her blessing. So I think that's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. So,
yeah. So her character is again, it's sort of a Roman detective, but his role is a physician and a medicus in the Roman legions. And for one reason or another, Felix needed a physician for the current work. So I borrowed him, and I asked her, and she said it's okay. So she read the Sims, so, how it's written and everything is it's really obvious that it's separate and it's okay, and it does a decent representation of the characters. So she's okay with it, which is awesome.
That's really cool. I think that it's kind of disservice to yourself as an author or an artist of any type too, not to be open to being inspired by other people, because you don't know, if you don't allow yourself to be open to that inspiration, what you might create that's going to be something valuable to yourself, and maybe other people too. It can come out all kinds of ways. I've written songs because I've listened to people's podcasts and then been inspired by it, or whatever, and just the idea of that some things are sacred, like you can't get inspiration from that. It's kind of limiting and sad.
Yeah.
But I think you should be able to get inspiration from everything.
Art doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's always a response to something. So.
Yeah. And people are always responding to everything. You can't not do it. So
that's a good
impossible. Thing. Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I think that it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of best to be open to it, so then you can take the best qualities of everything that you love and then infuse it within your own work and grow and get bigger and stronger. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice and fun, and we all dream about living off our art, but it's better to be a bit realistic and keep that the idea of.
Yes.
And focus on the art itself rather than the other things around it.
Yeah. Which I try to do. I try to be pretty realistic. Oh well. Okay, well, I think that is all of my questions. Do you have any questions that are brimming in your brain?
So many.
I know.
You haven't talked about your books at all. You should.
Oh, I should. Oh goodness.
People, we said that the giveaway is open for people who, and they can choose, either mine or one of your books.
That's true. That's true. We did say that. Okay, so I have just released the Weightless one this year, and that is a young adult novel in verse. So it is kind of written in poetry, but it's a full story, like from beginning to end. So it's about a girl who has an eating disorder, and she is put into an eating disorder clinic against her will by her parents, and it goes through from the first day that she's in there until the day she's released. So
and the thing, there's one thing about it that you keep forgetting is that you've reached #1 best-selling author for the book.
Yes.
And for a good reason. So
thank you. Thank you.
I've started to read it, and it's really amazing. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes,
waiting till I get time to finish reading.
I do keep forgetting that. With that book, I have had some people ask me where I got the idea and if Miranda, the main character, is me. And she isn't me, but I was in a treatment facility before I had anorexia, and I'm recovered. And so some of the experiences I had And I had a big binder from that time where it had all of the meal plans and how they would break your day up into blocks of time, which I hated. And they had positive affirmations, which I hated. And so I have all of that. And so I tried to make it as realistic as possible. And so for me, one of the best parts of sharing that was getting to reach out to the therapist who I was like Miranda in that I was kind of it was kind of hard to deal with, I would say. And so I got to reach out to them and thank them for saving my life. So that was a big, meaningful thing for me. And yeah, so I really hope that helps anybody who is going through something similar. And that could be anything. It could be in a treatment facility for that, or I've talked to other people who overeat, and it's the same thing. It's just a coping skill. So to let them know this.
I'm sure it will touch a lot of people.
I hope so. That basically you can just get other coping skills. It takes time, but you can do it. It's not like a life sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is that book. And then I also released a different book this year, which was The Whisper Collector, that kind of got hidden a bit because of the Weightless one getting more attention. And that is a poetry book. It's dark poetry, so it's all kind of less hopeful. But I really like the Whisper Collector, which I guess I should since I came up with it. And it's been compared to Charles Bukowski the most, I would say. And then I have one other book, Bright Needles, and that was the first book that I released. And that is another book of dark poetry. So those are my current released books. Yes. Yeah. There, I talked about my books.
Good.
Good. And you can find excerpts on my webpage of all of those books.
Good. Yeah. I think experts work well.
I think they do too, because sometimes it's hard to tell if you're going to like something, you know, until you can see it. So I want people to be able to see it if they want to, before they make the $2.99 plunge. I know it's
the price point is doesn't matter that much. So getting people to want to read your book is far harder than to get them to over a particular price point. So.
Yeah, that's.
Amazon
so.
is the $2.99 is the magic system, and they're the ones with the large data sets. They're the ones who analyze and say, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They know the price point where they sell the most books. So okay.
Yeah. They said $2.99, so I said okay. Who am I to go against your superior knowledge, Amazon.com? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's check to see if anybody has given us any other questions. Oh, JD said, damn, got here so late. We'll have to catch the replay. Oh, well, you'll get there. You can catch it. You can catch it whenever you feel like it.
Yes. So the video will stay up for, well, as long as YouTube.
Yeah, as long as YouTube exists, this video will be here. So don't worry.
Yeah, and the giveaway will be open for a week.
Yep, 1 week, and then we will draw a name, and
Yeah.
Then
Leave a comment about
Yep.
the most disgusting historically accurate food you can think of.
And then you can win. All right. Well, this has been awesome. So much fun. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody in the comments, for being here and listening and playing along with your disgusting food that you're going to come up for us. And we will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.